Hello, everyone. We are so excited to be here. I'm Joe.
I'm Sammy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Health Wealth Bible. So this is a nutrition guide for the ultimate girl boss. We have been working on this for so long. It is packed with so many nuggets, and I'm going to go through our table of contents of what is inside because it is jam-packed. So we're going to go through an about us, a letter from your coaches that we wrote, 5 simple tips to live rich by. I love those. The 3 pillars of the Health Wealth Method, which is our signature framework. And then we're going to get into pillar 1, becoming an energy piggy bank. Pillar 2, scaling your self-care. Pillar 3, investing in a daily routine, which is so important. And then we're going to close out with 4 hacks to hitting the nutrition jackpot. And then included are bonuses we're so excited about. We have a daily wellness planner. We have a weekly wellness planner. And then we have 5 thought-provoking journal prompts. And then our thank you page. So it is so jam-packed. So let's get into it. So we're going to start with a little bit of an introduction. So for those of you who do not know my crazy self, I am Joe. I am a registered dietitian from Jersey. I've been in RD for about just over 3 years now. I've been in the online coaching space for just about 2. I absolutely love what I do. Helping everyone just live a healthier lives, show up better for themselves, show up as the badasses that they are, and really live their life unapologetically. So hopefully you can get to know me a little bit better, and I'm going to pass it over to Sammy so she can do her intro.
Hey, Boss Babe. So I'm Sammy. I am a Chicago born and raised gal, but now living in Arizona. I am a registered dietitian as well, just like Joe. I've been a dietitian for about 7 years now, but in the online space for about 1. My background is in oncology nutrition, which really made me inspired to show you how proactive, healthy living can be so simple. So it's a passion of mine to make things so simple because, to be honest, nobody has time to make things complicated, especially in this boss babe world. So we're here to really simplify it, and it really starts with this ebook, and we cannot be more excited to get started with you.
Oh, excited. So now we're going to go into just a little bit of a recap. We just wrote a little bit of like a love letter to all of you. So whether you are in your 9 to 5, whether you are doing a full-time entrepreneurial endeavor, or if you're balancing the 2, if you're where we were and you're doing both of them at the same time, this is our love letter to you. This ebook is going to help all of the masses. So let's dive right in. I am so excited.
All right. So what we're going to start with is your launch into healthy living. I'm going to go through 5 simple tips that you can live rich by. And these are things that you can start immediately. And by immediately, I mean today. And so when we look at step number 1, or tip number 1, is save time by keeping it simple. This is one of my favorite rules of thumb, is when we look at foods and we keep them simple, simple is best. It's also the most time saving and cost friendly. So if you're looking to really gain more money back in your wallet, whole foods and simple foods are where they're at. So how we want to look at this is whole foods, things without packages. And I'm talking fruits, vegetables, grains, maybe that you're going to buy in bulk, and some just lean protein, things like fish or chicken. There's simple whole foods that will really go far when it comes to your wallet and also in time. And when things are also packaged, what we want to do is look at the packaging. Scan down and go ahead and look at that ingredients list. And if you can read all the ingredients, that is a great sign. So that's check number 1. And if the list isn't that long, so maybe it has 5 ingredients, that's check number 2. And this is considered a simple whole food. So save time by keeping it simple. Whole foods are always best. And if they have a package, the ingredients should be pretty small and easily readable. Tip number 2 is boost energy with the essentials. Don't skip out on water and food. You know, as boss babes, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, 9 to 5ers, this is one of the basic things that is most often skipped. We go about our busy, packed days, and we can like forget completely about our meals and easily skip over them, because when time is money, we just put our health and food and water on the back burner. So what you can do is make sure you're prioritizing your meals and getting these in, because they're actually going to fuel your energy for the day. And also when it comes to water and making sure you're not skipping your water, keep a water bottle maybe in front of you or next to you as just a good healthy reminder of, hey, I haven't drank anything in the last hour. I probably should. So never skip these basic essentials, because they are major energy boosters. Tip number three is self-care is not selfish. When you start to prioritize you, you show up dramatically different. You are way more confident, you are way more energetic, and you are energetically aligned to who and what you want to attract. So make sure you prioritize that at least one self-care act in the day. And it can be as simple as maybe taking 10 minutes to go for a walk, or 3 minutes for a meditative practice. Or maybe it's just saying, I'm going to eat away from my desk today and spend a little time with me and actually enjoy my meal. So these self-care tasks don't need to take a long time. They just need to be prioritized. And so when we look at tip number 4 is build simple habits. This is a big spot where a lot of people can be overwhelmed in, because when we want to change our habits and change our lifestyle, people often do all of this at once. We change 50 things, we feel overwhelmed. You might be super motivated at first, but then it leads to you falling back into old habits. So to make a sustainable, simple change, prioritize things about 1 to 2 habits at any given time and work at that same habit every 2 to 3 weeks. So what you're doing by this is you're reducing the overwhelm, you're staying focused on that one single habit, and then you get to build on those habits from there, slowly and gently. So it actually goes along and integrates with your day than working against it, creating more stress. So for example, like we were talking about with the water, if you don't really drink that much water, maybe water is a really great place to start. And you say, I'm gonna work on drinking 3 to 4 bottles of water each day. And maybe right now you only drink 1. So maybe your first goal for the first week is, I'm gonna drink 2 bottles every single day. Week 2, maybe you're gonna drink 3 bottles every day. And by week 3, you're gonna drink 4. And by doing this, you're not overwhelmed and you're also not waterlogged. So again, keep it simple when it comes to habits. Choose 1 or 2 and focus on building them slowly over a 2 to 3 week time period. And then last but definitely not least is number 5, transform your lifestyle and routine. So this is more of a mindful aspect when you're creating change, is remember your habits were created over a lifetime. They weren't created in a day. So this will take time to create those consistent, sustainable habits that you truly want, because you're creating this change to have a lasting impact on your life, on your business, on your personal goals, on your relationships. So give it the time that it needs. Go slow, be consistent, and consistency will always win. All right. So I want to jump right into our ultimate 3 signature,
So exciting.
health wealth method. So this health wealth method is designed by Joe and I, and this is the exact strategies we use to create our health thriving habits that we now use in our business and also help us in our lives thriving better. So these 3 pillars include your energy, pillar 1. Pillar 2 is self-care, and pillar 3 is routine. So let's dive deep into pillar 1. So if you're ready to become an energy piggy bank, get started with this. So number 1 is avoid skipping meals. I prefaced this a little bit earlier on in this video, but skipping meals can be a big deal when it comes to your energy. If you notice that while the first meal that you eat today is maybe dinner, and you are so brain fogged and fatigued, and you notice tasks are taking you so much longer, this is something you want to avoid skipping. So an easy way to go about doing this is schedule your meals in, and maybe just use simple friendly reminders. And it doesn't have to be a reminder that is like a buzzing, irritating sound. It could be just a simple vibration just saying, hey, mealtime, or maybe it's snack time, to really help getting you used to eating more frequently. And by doing so, you'll notice that your energy and productivity go way up, and you can actually get more time back in your day and also achieve that balance that you're really looking for. So number 2, when it comes to becoming an energy piggy bank, is swap in energy boosters. The first one to really look at is your drinks. This is a big one. When it comes to liquids, we often choose sugary filled fraps or sodas or juices, especially when we get what I call that afternoon slump. You know, that one that hits around 3 p.m. And so when you look at those liquids, and you swap out for liquids that have less sugar, so maybe it's going to be sparkling water. Maybe you want a cup of green tea to provide a little energy boost in the day. Or maybe if you still like those fancy sugar drinks like fraps, guess what? Just ask for 1 pump less of syrup, and you're right on your way to really helping boost your energy. And also when it comes to foods. So foods are another big energy boosting aspect to your day. Don't be afraid of carbohydrates. So I'm going to say it again, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are not bad. I know they get a bad rap out there, but I promise you, if you notice that you're a bit dragging when it comes to your energy, this could be a big sign that you might need some more carbohydrates in your diet. And so how you can do this is start with your first meal of the day, like breakfast. You can add in maybe a oatmeal, or you can do a sweet potato hash, or you can even do something like a sprouted whole wheat piece of toast. This little energy bump that you're going to get in the day will dramatically make a big effect on the whole rest of the day when it comes to your energy and productivity. So swap in some of these energy boosters when it comes to your liquids and your meals or your foods. Also, scheduling your workouts. So as they say, motion creates emotion. So if you notice that your mood's been down, your energy's really low, really look at, have I been getting in movement in every day? Or are you struggling to really being consistent with your workouts? And honestly, consistent with your workouts is a big issue for us all. And again, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or a 9-to-5er. Workouts and schedule can be a big thing. So an easy way to bypass that is just schedule it in as an appointment. And by you doing that, you're making that commitment to yourself. You'll schedule your workday around your workout, and you'll be able to prioritize it easy this way. So you'll never miss that favorite workout class in ever again. Number 4, add more fun into your life. And do this intentionally. Sometimes when we notice that we're just kind of feeling down and our mood is down, and again, we're really low in energy, this is another sign that we need more fun in our life. We didn't become entrepreneurs so that you can work a life that doesn't lead to fun or freedom or anything like that. Fun in life is key to absolutely living your life to the fullest. And it doesn't have to be a big trip around the world. It could be something as simple as reading your favorite magazine, or taking time to do a puzzle, or just going out to your favorite coffee shop and just enjoying the environment. Whatever is fun to you, start adding more fun into your life. And number 5, strategically plan and batch your tasks. Whoa, this can be a big energy zapping task. If you're going in between tasks of emails to creative work like building content, to meetings with other people, whether again it's fellow entrepreneurs or other business people or coworkers in your workspace, if you're not batching your tasks accordingly, you're just trying to multitask. And multitasking is a big energy zapping activity. So what you want to do is batch similar tasks together. So if you're going to do emails or other admin work, maybe choose 2 hours out of your day saying, okay, for the next 2 hours, I'm just going to be replying back to messages. I'm just going to be doing emails, any admin tasks. Versus something that requires more of a creative outlet. Say, you're going to create a new presentation, or you're creating content writing, or you're writing a blog. Allot maybe 3 or 4 hours to that said task. That way you can be in that same zone of genius and your energy is going to one space. We're switching back and forth between tasks. All right, so we're going to kick off pillar 2 now. Jill, ready to take over?
Yes, scaling self-care. Okay, so just like when we are in the gym and we are taking days off, that is what our brain also needs to do. So for the person that is a workaholic, Sammy and I have been there. Like when I was in my full-time job and balancing my at the time, side hustle, I was working 70, 80 hours a week. And we have to remember that we want to make sure that self-care is going to include giving ourselves that mental break. You can show up better for yourself, better for your partner, better for your family, better for your boss, for your friends, for all the people in your life. If you can show up better when you are taking those times off. So giving you the validation to give yourself that TLC, making sure that you're getting a minimum of 7 hours of sleep per night. Usually with someone that is very ambitious, our sleep goes by the wayside and we tend to not prioritize it. And that is going to be like the circle of life. Like your sleep is going to affect everything else in your life. And then one part of rest and recovery, which is super important, is avoid hitting the snooze button. So there is so much research out there that says that hitting the snooze button really, really changes the trajectory of the rest of your day because it brings about sleep inertia, which really is going to drain your cognitive behavior and abilities and function. And is really going to make you that groggy and lethargic and tired feeling. So I could go on a ramble with that, but sleep inertia is something that I take very seriously, and I've been with myself practicing more and more avoiding hitting the snooze button. And because of all the research out there, it's very important to prioritize our morning and to make sure that we are getting sufficient sleep throughout the night. And also, napping is okay. Napping is okay if you need it. And taking mental health days and everything like that, and giving yourself the rest and the recovery that you need, because it seems that nobody has a problem having an off day in the gym. But when it comes to an off day with our mental health and mental exhaustion, it seems to be a little bit harder, a little bit more challenging. So I challenge you to evaluate your schedule and really find time to give yourself that TLC and to implement rest and recovery. So the next one kind of goes hand in hand with that, is practice saying no. So just like Sammy said in the previous section, we want to incorporate fun into our life. We want to incorporate things that light us up, which we are so excited about doing. However, there's a big button here. But we want to make sure that we are not doing things that we feel obligated to do. We don't want to pack our schedule and pack our days with things that don't light us up, which we're doing just to do, or that we're doing out of obligation. And sometimes people may get hurt along the way, or your schedule may have to change a little bit along the way, or you may have to have a little bit of an uncomfortable conversation with someone. But saying no, if it is truly draining your energy and it is not serving you, is really going to hinder your energy and hinder your self-care. Saying no is super empowering. And really evaluating those things in your life, like taking a bird's eye view and taking an overall approach, taking a step back and looking at how your time is allocated. And if your time is allocated to going to a bunch of things or doing a bunch of things that either aren't within your role or within your scope, or things that you don't enjoy and you're just going just to go, Like I said, it could really, really drain your energy. And I'm going to go over 2 scenarios, which are on the bottom of this page. If you want to follow along, whatever scenario and circumstance that you're in, I want to challenge you to evaluate how you can practice saying no. So scenario 1 is you work in a 9 to 5 and your intimidating boss continues to add more and more duties to your job description without increasing compensation. So what would you do in that scenario? So you could pause this video if you want to jot it down, or you can come back to this later. But really, really evaluating if you're working in a 9 to 5 job, is your energy being spent in tasks that aren't serving you? And then scenario number 2 is you are an online coach. So this is for my entrepreneurs. And you are taking a shower at 8 p.m. and you hop out to see that one of your clients double and triple messaged you because you didn't respond right away. So what would you do in that scenario? And all this goes back to is creating boundaries in your life. Boundaries are so important, and just making sure that you implement them and that you stick to them. It's going to be really empowering, and it's really going to allow you to tap into that energy. And boundaries and saying no, to me, even though it's a little bit out of the box, it is a form of self-care. Okay, so on to pillar 3 is investing in a daily routine. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, and Sammy probably knows what I'm going to say. I'm going to preface this by saying that a lot of the time, as entrepreneurs, or not even only as business owners, but as ambitious women in the workforce, we feel that we have to have a specific routine, or we have to have a morning routine. Like pull out your book, do a little journaling, do your meditation, do yoga, or whatever we see on social media. And I am the first person to say that that is not what my morning looks like. I have this conversation with my clients often. You need some sort of routine, but your routine does not have to look like somebody else's. Does not have to look like your friends, your coworkers. Whatever works for them doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And trying to mold yourself and shape yourself into somebody else's routine, it's probably not going to stick. So rather than trying to kind of force yourself into a specific action or habit, create your own routine. As humans, we crave routine. We love routine. As human beings, that is how we operate best. But remember that it is going to be individualized and finding something that works for you. So I want to start this off with setting your daily intentions the night before. This is something very small, but very, very effective. If you're setting your intentions the moment you wake up, you're already behind the ball. So really just taking 5 minutes or 10 minutes and setting them the evening before can make the world of a difference. And it doesn't mean you have to pull out your notebook and you have to jot them down, pen to paper, all of that. What I do is sometimes I'll type them in the notes section of my laptop, or I'll type them in the notes section of my phone if I don't have a pen and paper. Remember, do what works for you. If you are more into tech, or if you're more into journaling and writing on paper, do what works for you, but make sure that you're going into each day already knowing your intentions of what you want to accomplish. And then once you have your intentions really set, you want to prioritize them, because our intentions are going to be great, but they could easily turn into a long, long laundry list of a to-do list. So we want to make sure we're prioritizing them. We want to make sure that we're putting those time-sensitive tasks first, and we're putting those urgent tasks first. And then everything else, if it needs to fall into the next day and the day after, that's okay. But having your intentions set the night before and prioritizing them based on urgency and based on if they're time-sensitive, how important they are, things like that. The next portion of this section is a daily dose of movement. Now, not talking about exercise, not talking about going in and lifting first thing in the morning. Yes, that could be super effective and super important, but incorporating a daily dose of movement outside of exercise. So it doesn't mean going to the gym. It doesn't mean having to lift or hop on the treadmill and get 2 or 3 miles in, but some sort of morning movement is going to help our bodies. It's going to help the circulation of our blood. It's going to bring oxygen to our brain. It's going to help with our cognition. It's going to help loosen our joints in the morning and get our muscles really, really moving and kind of warmed up for the day. This could look like anything to you. It could look like stretching. It could look like yoga. It could look like walking your dog. It could look like just taking a walk outside if you see that you wake up and the sun is shining. You have your coffee in hand. Little things like this are going to make the world of a difference. And also because our brain is going to secrete all those happy hormones, which are going to lead us into a better trajectory of the rest of our day. So remember, if it's an off day, if it's a day that you don't want to go to the gym, if it's a day that you don't want to get movement in, that's okay. But we should still get our body moving. And then the last portion on here is start your day with a balanced breakfast. So I know Sammy touched on food a little bit earlier, but really with a balanced breakfast, this is where we are going to carry us through the rest of the day. I know we always hear breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but like in my opinion, that's so true. Not only for our metabolism and for our digestion, but for our productivity, for our mindset. So making sure that your breakfast is packed with carbohydrates, it's packed with some healthy fats, it's packed with protein. And then most importantly, if I have to pick one, I'd say what's most important, I would want to make sure that your breakfast is packed with fiber. Fiber is going to help all your digestion and absorption, everything moving along. It's going to make sure that you feel super full and super satiated going into the day. So don't skip out on breakfast. Make sure that it is included and make sure that it is balanced. Okay, so now I'm going to get into one of my favorite parts of this entire ebook, and it is the 4 hacks to hitting the nutrition jackpot. I am so excited for this part. And let's dive right in. These are the hacks that I am using with my clients, the hacks that I use with myself. I was like, you know what? I love these and I want to share them with all of you. So let's dive right into them. Okay. So mastering a food label. So when we are on a health and wellness journey, whether it be to improve our health, whether it be to lose weight, whatever it might be, whether it be to gain muscle, we can find ourselves for hours and hours and hours staring at food labels in the grocery store, standing in aisle 9, like moving around everyone as we're picking up the back of all of these packages. What is super important and why I made this one of the hacks is mastering a food label. Being able to get in and get out and know what to look for. Because a lot of the times I have clients that will be in the dairy department flipping over yogurt and comparing the fats, or they will be in the cracker aisle and they'll flip them over and they'll compare like the protein. Things that aren't necessarily the most important things that we should be looking for in those departments. So rather I've outlined things that are relevant to specific foods. So if you're feeling stuck, you're picking up products and you're not knowing what to look for, this is hack number 1. So if it is a frozen or a canned product, we want to look for sodium. Sodium is something that's going to help preserve things. It's going to help keep it fresh, but it also, obviously salt, which is sodium, it's going to bring it up a bit. So in our canned or in our frozen sections, we want to look for sodium. Aim for something under 600. Now, I could go on and I could talk about like under 600 here, under 200 here with condiments and everything like that. But for a general rule of thumb, we want to be choosing things that are under 600. Well under 600, even better. If something is under 140, it is considered low sodium. So that's another benchmark that I would keep in mind. Something is under 140 milligrams, it is considered low sodium. But for everything else, for those frozen dinners, for those canned things, we want them to be well under 600 if we can. If they're approaching 600, if it's like a frozen meal, that's okay. But this is just a benchmark. So this way you are not standing in the frozen aisle, freezing your butt off, trying to read nutrition facts labels. And then yogurt or cottage cheese. So when it comes to yogurt or cottage cheese, yes, protein is so, so important, but a lot of them have protein. So what would be the quickest and easiest thing to look for is sugar. So with yogurts and cottage cheese and those dairy products, we want the sugar to be less than or equal to 12. And then when it comes to pasta, breads, or other starches, we don't really need to be looking at carbohydrates. I know everyone like immediately goes to carbs. We don't need to be looking at calories or protein or anything like that. What is most important when it comes to our starches is looking at that dietary fiber. We want it to be 2 or greater. Anything that says like 0 or 1 or less than 1, not going to be a great source, not really going to keep you full and satiated. So look for something that is more, 2 or more. I would stick with that. Okay, our second hack is measuring portions in a flash. So if I'm going to take a sip of water for this because I'm so excited. And Sammy knows this is like my go-to hack for literally like everything. So measuring portions in a flash. This will change your life. So if you find yourself constantly pulling out, and even like my cats are sitting right here, and as soon as I'm like getting excited and passionate, they're like peeking up. So if you are constantly measuring things with measuring spoons, measuring things with measuring cups, measuring things on a food scale, and you constantly find yourself pulling out the measuring cups, pulling out the food scale, pulling out all of these things, your mind is about to be blown. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We are going to create a list of foods that you have most often. So this might be steamed broccoli. This might be brown rice. This might be quinoa. This might be macaroni and cheese. This might be chicken breast, whatever it is. This might be, I don't know, grapes, whatever you have most often that finds its way into your diet pretty consistently and pretty regularly. You're going to create a list. Then you are going to do all of your measuring with your measuring cups, with your food scale. You are going to put it onto a plate once you've measured it. And you're going to, just like in a flash, means like a camera, you're going to take a picture of it. And you are going to go to the little tool. And I know like most phones have this feature. You go to the little tool and you draw right on the picture, as you can see here, of what that measurement was. So in this example here, I measured out a 1/4 cup of, that was like a brown rice blend, and 1.5 cups of vegetables. So once you go to the little tool and you draw right on the picture, you can save that picture into an album, which you entitle food. So if you have an iPhone, I know you can definitely do this because this is what I use. So you draw on all your pictures once you've measured out all your food, save them into an album in your phone. 3 months go by, and now you're like, oh, I want to measure out steamed broccoli, but I don't feel like getting the measuring cup out. Maybe it's a little bit monotonous, and maybe you really want to break that habit because you feel handcuffed to all of these measuring tools. Whip out your phone, because we all have our phones on us. Pull up that picture and eyeball it. And you have the measurement right there, and you have a picture of what it looks like. This is going to save you hours on end. It's going to save you washing measuring cups and washing measuring spoons. It's going to save you from really feeling tied to the food scale and being dependent on it. And it's going to be a really, really nice and easy transition from going from all of that strict accuracy and precision to living a life of a little bit more freedom, but giving yourself a little bit of a guide to portion size. So I love that. It is my favorite hack. My clients use it, and once it becomes a habit, it's gonna stick and it's gonna make your life so much easier. All right, hack number 3 is creating a balanced AF dinner plate. So obviously I had to sneak in AF somewhere in this ebook because I am a little sassy. So when it comes to our dinner plate, I get questions often for someone that doesn't want to track macros or they don't want to track their calories, and they want something that isn't as strict, and they want something that they can feel good about and something that they can really just use their eyes and a visual to build their plate. So the first thing is you want to make sure that it's colorful. You want to make sure that it has different food groups. So as the more colors on your plate, the better, and the more variety of food groups, the better. However, if you need a little bit more of a guideline and you need a little bit more precision, that is what we are here for. So the hack with creating a balanced dinner plate, and this will also go for lunch or even for breakfast, is you want to make sure 50% contains non-starchy vegetables. And what I mean by non-starchy vegetable is vegetables that are not going to contain a significant amount of carbohydrates. So vegetables that are starchy are anything like our potatoes, our peas, corn, sweet potatoes, things like that. So that's not what we're talking about. Those we're considering our carbs, those we're considering our starches. We want 50% of our plate to be non-starchy vegetables. And what is that going to leave us with? That's going to leave us with 25% being carbs. So any of those veggies that I named, or this could be a starch like a grain, like rice or pasta or anything like that. And then that's going to leave us with 25% for protein. So really using this little picture here and being able to eyeball it is going to make your life so much easier. So this way you're not saying like, how much vegetable should I have? I'm having 2 chicken cutlets, but it's like half the plate. And we just get so confused. So I could eat all the chicken cutlets like all day long. But we want something that is easy, something that we can implement, and something that is going to be accurate. So the 50%, 25%, and 25% is your go-to. It won't let you down, and it is a really, really easy guide to creating a balanced AF dinner plate. Okay, and then the last hack to close us off with this section is going to be the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is so important to me, and the reason that it is so important to me is because with my clients, I want to make sure that your mental health is not being hindered at the sake of your physical health. They are both equally important. Yes, your health, your physical health is important. You want to make sure that your body is moving. You want to make sure that you're feeling good, that you have tons of energy, but you don't want to get too crazy with it to a point where your mental health is now being sacrificed, because that's not fun. So with the 80-20 rule, this is going to say, and really the ideology and the philosophies behind it, is that if 80% of your day or 80% of your week or 80% of your lifestyle contains those healthy, nutrient-dense, wholesome foods, that you can add in 20% of your diet, 20% of your day, or 20% of your week with those indulgent foods, foods that light you up, foods that may not perfectly align with whatever your health goals are. And guess what? That's okay. That's all about sustainability. And implementing the 80-20 rule and really understanding it and practicing it day to day. Think about it, 20% is only a fifth of our life. So if we have a fifth of the time that we're having maybe cupcakes or that macaroni and cheese or hamburger or things that society may not see as the best choices, that's okay. That is what I want you to include 20% of the time. I promise it is going to lead to sustainability, and it is going to lead to just overall sanity. So that is it for the hacks. I love this portion. And then Sammy is going to get us into some of our like more applicable implementing guides that we have, and she's going to go over our planners.
Yeah, thank you, Jill. Those are awesome hacks. I love them all, and I hope you guys love them too. They are going to make such a big difference in your life. So let's start putting all of this into action for you and really showing you ways of what you can do today. So let's create your customized plan. And so we're going to start with creating your daily wellness planner. So this, and why I like to do this with all my clients, why I like to do it myself as well, is because the reason why you became an entrepreneur, you're an ambitious, career-driven woman, is that we really want to design our days the way that make us feel good. So the way we want to feel good should be the act of what we get to do on a day-to-day basis. It's not the result of us doing something. So what I mean by this is we can design our days in a way that make us feel our best. We don't need to wait and do more to finally feel good. You can feel good today. And this is where it will really, really start. So how I want you to take this daily wellness planner, we broke it down into 3 sections. You have your morning routine, your afternoon routine, and your evening routine. And as Joe had said before, your routine won't look like your friend's routine, which won't look like your coworker's routine or any of those that you see on social media. The point of this is to design it in a way that makes you feel your best. And the cool thing is, you get to try different things. So if one thing doesn't work or it doesn't feel good, like you're like, naturally, I'm having to force this a lot more, then we get to change it. You get to change it the next day. So it's really, really great. So what I did here, so if we take, say, your morning routine, so we want to start your day off doing more of what feels good so you can transform the way you show up the rest of the day. And so I put ideas on the side, different things that I personally do, different things that Joe does, and different things that my clients do as well. So for example, if you say, okay, in the morning routine, I am a journaler. So I really like to use journaling prompts just so I can go into my day with a grateful heart. I can go into the day thinking about what would make it amazing. That way I lead with such good intention for the day and I'm setting that tone. So maybe that's something you want to do. Or maybe a different idea is that you want to create, this is one of my favorites, you want to create a no email or work zone. Sometimes I call it a no phone zone. So if you notice that first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, you go to grab your phone and you're like, oh, what's going on? And we automatically think that there are fires that need to be put out. Give yourself boundaries. Boundaries are super healthy. And maybe your no phone zone or no tech zone doesn't start till 8 a.m. So you know that everything before 8 a.m. is just you time, whether it's taking your kids to school, whether it's doing your daily dose of first morning movement, maybe it's scheduling in your workout that first thing in the morning, or just having quiet downtime where you get to literally sip on your coffee and you don't feel bad about it. You are giving yourself that permission to have those healthy boundaries. And same thing goes for the evening. You can apply this towards the evening too and create that no tech zone as well. And so then if you start off with your morning, maybe start off that just for that, for your daily wellness plan, or for now, maybe you just want to outline that morning. Or if you want to outline your day of what that could potentially look like, maybe just choose one idea from each section to start for each portion of the day. So come afternoon, one of the biggest things is I always definitely recommend take a break from your workspace. How often do we find ourselves working and eating in front of the computer? What that often leads to is us overeating, less satisfaction with our food, because to be honest, have you gone through a meal? I know I have before, gone through a meal and you're like, well, who ate that? I don't even remember tasting it or smelling it. I thought it was good, but we mindlessly eat from there and we don't actually get to have that mental break. So we get that midday recovery. So I would definitely say schedule some time away from the desk as much as possible, even if it's just for 10 minutes. And then when we look at your evening routine, so as I had mentioned, just as much as important as your morning, the evening is as well, because it gives you time to wind down, rest, recover, and set those intentions for the next day. So some different examples of what you can do is, as I mentioned, have quiet time. Wind down with a cup of tea, especially if you notice you're an evening snacker, maybe that your thoughts are just kind of going, or maybe you're a little bit more bored at night. You can always try swapping in some tea and having some quiet rest time away from the TV and away from technology, including social media, maybe to catch up on a favorite book, read a magazine, or literally just being present with your family or having some downtime with your girlfriend. So any of that can do you wonders. So I definitely say take time with this daily wellness planner. Simple steps to start is just start with one portion of your day first, whether it's morning, mid-afternoon, or evening, or if you're feeling really zesty, I love that word. If you're feeling really zesty, maybe outline one thing you can do for each portion of the day. So one for the morning, one for the afternoon, and one for the evening. And then you can build it and design it towards your best, healthiest day yet. So that way you're showing up and feeling your best while you're doing it. Moving into this weekly wellness planner now, I love this because this really incorporates everything that we're telling you from this ebook into a day-to-day focus. Because so often I get clients that are like, oh, meal prepping, like, oh my God, that can take 2 to 3 hours. Or my workouts, gosh, I just don't have time for it. So this weekly wellness planner really outlines different focuses of what you can do each day, how you can now apply this to, say, your day-to-day. You can take this and just say, okay, it's Sunday. Let's see what Joe and Sammy have to recommend. Okay, choosing one meal to prep. Doesn't that sound so much better than spending 2 to 3 hours? I'm not about that. Again, you don't have time for that, nor do you have the energy or probably the desire to do that. So nutrition and wellness can be so simple, and this is such a simple place to start. So say come Sunday, you're like, okay, I'm going to choose one meal. Maybe it's going to be my lunch, because when I prep my lunch for the week, that's going to give me extra time back, so I'm not driving around finding out what I want to eat. I can actually use my lunch hour to just enjoy my food, enjoy downtime, whatever that might be, and really get some time back in your life so you're actually less stressed. And then same thing goes for Monday through Saturday. So if we kind of take a look at this, maybe we'll go with Thursday. So come Thursday, you're like, okay, what do Joe and Sammy recommend is having a little less screen time. So if you notice that you are on your phone all the way up until bed, we know that that blue light dramatically affects your circadian rhythm, which dramatically affects the way you sleep and really rest. So maybe it's saying, okay, I'm going to choose to have a little less screen time, and I am going to have maybe 30 minutes before bed, I'm going to choose to read a book instead of being on my phone, which can make a dramatic difference to the way you sleep and the way you feel the next day. So use this weekly wellness planner as daily overall focuses about how we can incorporate different aspects to your life when it comes to your energy, your self-care, and your routine, and you can do it with ease. So again, this will ultimately boss up your life like the way you are, and the boss babe that you are. So have fun with it. And here is some journaling prompts for you.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go through a couple of them. So let me choose a couple to go over. I don't want to go through everything, but these are really going to serve you in a way where if you feel like you need to get your thoughts out on paper, I want you to choose one of these and go one by one and really just choose one that speaks to you and you feel that you can kind of gather your thoughts. Journaling isn't for everybody. I'm going to be honest, it's not for everybody. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try it, and it doesn't mean that we're not going to feel so much better after it, because writing, whether it be typing it in your phone or whether it be writing it pen to paper, it's super therapeutic. So maybe you want to choose like the second one, like flash forward a year from now, and it's magically this day next year. What have I accomplished mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, etc.? What are 3 small things that I can start doing today that will get me one step closer to that vision? And then maybe number 4, which beneficial part of my nutrition routine is the most temporary and fleeting? How can I adjust or tweak this habit so that it can fit into my lifestyle in a more permanent manner? And yes, I wrote these myself, so just gonna to my own horn there. I love writing journal prompts for my clients, and I really put a lot of thought into each of these because they cover different parts of our life. They cover different parts of our brain, and it's going to use different emotions and different energies to go through each of them. But I wanted to make sure that all 5 of them were thought-provoking. So, Sammy, I think that wraps us up. I am so excited that you got your hands on this product. I thank you so, so much. And remember that if you have questions about anything that we spoke about, any of the topics in this ebook, below this video, you're going to see a little box that says comments. And if you drop your question there, Sammy and I have access to it, and we're going to answer you. So you basically have us in your back pocket to answer any of your follow-up questions that you have from this ebook. I thank you so much for investing in us and for getting this ebook, because now everyone else is going to have so much FOMO, and you can brag to all your friends that you have it and you have all of these golden nuggets. And I thank you so much.
Thank you, Boss Babes. We can't wait to read your questions. Can't wait to read your comments. And again, as Joe said, just think of us like a dietitian in your pocket, but you have two, which is always better than one. So definitely utilize this feature. We can't wait to see you guys put these in place. And then also, whatever you put in place, whether it's your daily, weekly planner, your journaling prompts, or if you try one of our nutrition jackpot hacks, tag us on social media. So you see below, you can see at The Ambitious Nutritionist. And for me, it's at Sammy Peterson, RD. Tag us on your stories, tag us on your feeds, wherever it may be. We want to see you putting these steps into action. So this is you investing in yourself, investing in your future, investing in your business, your personal health, your relationships. All of this is interconnected and intertwined, and we can't wait to watch you experience what we call the ultimate wealth, which is your health. So congratulations, Health Babe. We're so